Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. But first, we're going to pull a card. We're going to pull a card from the Thoth deck, kind of just to set the tone, let us know kind of what is the energy of this reading. Now, we have the 10 of Wands. Now, the Thoth deck calls this the card of oppression, right? I like to think of this as almost kind of a sensation of being overly stimulated, or like you have found something that you find it tastes divine. And whenever you can partake in eating it, you find yourself continuing to go on and on. Now, you're already full, but it tastes so good. And you keep going with it. I mean, you're enthralled, right? And then it starts to set in. You have that overly full feeling. It feels oppressive, right? Like it's hard to maybe even kind of move around like you'd like, and you feel maybe a little bit more tired. So this is that energy, right? Things have almost kind of come to such a peak of emotionality that it's starting to feel overwhelming. Almost. Okay. All right. So we're going to see how that goes with the tea leaves. We're going to see what the formations say, what spirit says, and I always like to mention, if you haven't been here at the channel, that I am also a Virgo, a solar Virgo. Okay. Now, you could definitely be watching for any of the solar, lunar, ascendant. It doesn't matter, right? We all have varieties of placements that we can be watching for. I like to watch for my Venus sometimes. Definitely Saturn, Jupiter. It just depends on like what's going on in my life, right? Okay, so anyways, thank you for being here. This cup feels quite intense. We have prayer, we have the rabbit. Here's the rabbit. Look at this big old bunny over here. You could see here's the face. It would go down. Here's the nose. And going down into the body here, the front legs, and then the bunny ears kind of up here. Okay. So we also have a person sitting, okay? Now in this posture, I often think of the mother, right? Also, maybe the high priestess could be the empress, I suppose, but it is definitely a feminine and motherly energy, especially you can see it looks like there are children right here, kind of like right on the skirt of this being. So 2 children there. We also have the number 555. This looks like it says like maybe C-U-C-O or maybe G-U-C-O. I don't know. I don't know if that spells anything. Now over here we have a person on they're on the rim. Now the rim of the bowl or cup, to me is about the highest, if you would think of like the daemon, the higher thinking, the guardian angel, the metaphysical spirit, this is where it's most potent when we see it on the rim. So we have a person who looks like they are on their knees, right? And it looks like they're praying, like audibly uttering prayer, okay? So I want to look at these. Oh, and look at the person up here with the fish next to him. So money. Endeavoring for money. And this one looks like the ibis bird. So we have the magician or Thoth. Okay. I want to look at, how does all of this go together? I get so excited when there's so many formations that are like, oh my gosh. Okay, so the rabbit, we know, right? Abundance. Now, it can also be kind of a cautionary thing. Like, you need to slow down and pay attention. If you are imprecise during this time, you're going to miss your mark, right? If you get a little too ahead of yourself thinking you already won before the thing has been called, you might find that you fall short, right? So that might be part of it, you know. It might be a little bit already called it and it's not even close to being done, right? But the other part of it is there's the abundance, the multiplying of, the ability to create, all right? And this is a very Virgo energy, right? We are the growers. We are the builders. We are also the destroyers, excuse me. And we fortify, right? We fortify. So there feels like it seems to me, and I'm looking at this almost kind of, because we are Virgos, like even when good things are happening and we're coming into periods of time that are very abundant for us, we are skeptical. I am always a person that, you know, if I want something, I always am very thoughtful of how can I manage this in reality. You know what I mean? Like, I want, like, for instance, say you wanted to get like a pool. Okay. Now I'm from Northern California. I now live in the upper Midwest, and I have for a long time. But I grew up, born and raised in NorCal, and a lot of people had pools, okay? They're wonderful things to have if you are so privileged, but the upkeep for a pool is almost ridiculous. Like, I don't know. And as a Virgo, and I'm just using this as an example, right? As a Virgo, we're really cautious about just letting ourselves fully go along with something unless we have taken the time to formulate it, right? If we build the thing from the bottom to the top, you better bet that we have done it with precision, that we've done it with a lot of intention and research and, you know, getting the best materials we can and all these things. So I feel like this is like kind of a reiteration of what you already know. Like, you already know this. You already know it. Now, I feel like we have this real focus on, well, I'm going to say your relationship with the divine, your belief system, your religion. Maybe you are somebody who is into the sciences. That might be your religion. And I know people, the people of science, right? Usually, no matter, not all of them, but I would say most people who are science-minded, right? And I'm not saying just like an atheist or whatever, wouldn't necessarily like to call science a religion. I come from the McKenna school of thought, and that's Terence McKenna, that anything that we have to, you know, decide to believe in has potential to be a belief system, right? So even if sciences are your higher thing, right? Your higher power, there really feels to me to be a call. You have a calling. It is burning inside of you to be, I think, interlocked in your faith, your beliefs, your intuitions. And really the thing here, I just keep feeling this like almost sense of like being inspired to do things that just feel weird, right? Like all of a sudden you just think like, well, the new moon is upon us, or is coming upon us pretty quickly here. Maybe I should get a jar of water and salt, maybe a little bit of honey, and a sprig of something. And I'm going to set it in my window. I'm going to set it on my porch. I'm going to set it out in the yard. Now, you think, what the heck would I do that for? Why would I feel a calling to do such a thing? Now, maybe I read it somewhere. Maybe I saw it on a YouTube video. Maybe, this, that. Maybe my grandmother used to do it. But for some reason that you've been called to do something. I feel like there is a sense of loosening of rationality, which, as the absurdist that I am, I fully support that decision. You're shedding an old self. You're becoming something else completely. I see you really looking out across the lands and seeing the atmosphere of things. You are not blind to any of this. Okay, I know that. And I feel you starting to hear the simple callings. There's an influence in your life that is always there. But it's like it has to be the right light of day to see it. You are feeling it intensely. And so I see you actually, and this really speaks to me deeply. I see you actually getting into a situation, a dynamic where you are teaching. Now, I don't know what you are teaching. If it's academic, if it's, some kind of, you're formally in the education system, if you are teaching, kids classes for the community, schools, or, teaching like retreats or whatever it is. Maybe you have some kind of meetup group that you do with other people. You do talks, whatever it is. I feel like this is your place. This is your thing. This is the driving force in your, not whole life. I mean, like, get out of here. You're not supposed to be a teacher like your whole life. But, okay, so you are in that part of your life where, yeah, you are a teacher. You are some kind of leader and a healer. And you know how to build something within life. And I think that's what your purpose is. Even if you are, like you're, maybe you're like a para or something at a school, and, you don't necessarily see yourself as being like a fully career education person. But what you don't realize is just in being there, existing in the way that you do, you are influencing so many people. And now I don't know if that's your work or not. But I do think that you start to see that this is something that comes naturally to you. And you will teach. And you'll teach for years. Maybe not in this one specific way, but you will be somebody who is called to be a teacher continually throughout your life. Now, not always. And just let me remind you, it's not going to be always. But you come into it naturally. You have a voice that people can hear. So, that's going to be important, okay? The money seems to be coming. Things are going to take a little bit of a turn here for you. I think there is a big ease. You know, we've been under a lot of stress, a lot of chaos, a lot of worry. Just uncertainty everywhere. I mean, I don't know, you know, I'm sure there are some places that are just like cruising. But for the majority of us, at least in this part of the Western world, yeah, things have gotten a little bit dicey. Okay? All right? And I feel like there's going to be an ease that kind of gives us a moment to breathe. Okay, some clarity here. I also think that, you know, you're a Virgo, so you'll understand. Something about us, we thrive when things are going crazy. Like, we're made for crisis. We are, you know, we are the masters of resource. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't maybe always, like, we're not the face of the thing, but we are the ones often, you know, running everything from behind the scenes. And so I do feel like even though it's been a lot and a lot of us are just, you know, emotionally, intellectually, even physically burnt out behind all of this stuff that's going on, not to mention in our personal lives. But you also are kind of at your best at under this energy, and you are going to make things happen. Not because you just want to, like it's some kind of vanity thing. No, because you have to, and because you're just going to do it. You know? That's the thing about us Virgos is like, you know, hold my drink. I'm going to show you, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to figure this out. I don't care how I'm going to get it done. I am going to get it done. Okay? It will be done. Worry not. So, now we also, and that's that energy of Thoth as well, right? The magician, the magi. So this, in my mind, I often think of it as kind of the, architect, the grand architect of your own life, which is you. Don't get it twisted. You are the architect. You are the magician. You are the weaver of your own life, your own perceptions, how you experience the world, and so on. Okay? I will not ever say any different. I truly do believe that, even under dire circumstances, you know. It is something that is hard to... It's hard to understand, I think, because it's not... I feel like when you say that you are, you know, the master of your own reality and things are really bad, it's kind of like, well, I'm doing a terrible job, or I'm, you know, but that's not what it is. It's not about things. There's no morality or ethics in life in a real and honest way. You know, this is a human strand of thought. So there is no doing it the wrong way. It's basically, you have hardships, you have ordeals. I don't know what to say, but there are blessings in those lessons. And ultimately, you know, there are going to be times of our life where we're just surviving. Just surviving, just trying to eat a little, get enough food or money, or, keep the lights on, or, and whatever it is, trying to find housing. I understand all that stuff. I've been there more years of my life. I get it. And yet, and maybe I'm a romantic, I do believe that we are, the architects of our own reality. And it's hard to face that fact, because it means that we have to engage our reality. It means that we have to be intentional about building our reality, about how we talk to ourselves, about how we talk about our experiences that we're going through in the world, and how we talk to ourselves about that all day long. I know, because I do it to myself. I'm constantly, I should change this. I need to work on that. I can't believe I didn't get that done. I need to do better. I need to be more efficient. I need to stay on task. I need to have more hours in the day so I can do more chores and, work more, be a better parent, stay as fit as I can, and just things upon things upon things. And we can decide to not constantly destroy ourselves, talking poorly to ourselves. That changes. If you can get through a day where you're not on yourself, shame, guilt, lamenting, ruminating, finding reasons to be paranoid about whatever, the whole vibe changes. Life looks different. The way the light looks different. Life feels different. And so not always can this be controlled, by the way. There are many things. Medications, depression, all the things with mental health, right? That completely flavors whatever's going on, of course. But a lot of it, man, it really is. And so when I see the Magician, of course it's like, well, this is a blessing, dude. This is such a lucky thing to have in, your energetic field, and it's activated. But it also, it takes a lot of devotion. You have to be devoted to dwell within the Magician. The Magician is somebody who is multidisciplinary. This is like a lot of different things put together into one person, one archetype, right? Even if you just go look up Thoth, the god archetype, look at what he dwells over. How many different disciplines, right? And so to be the Magician is to be, many, many, many faces. Kind of like a Vedic vibe. Many faces, fractal even. And so I feel this expansion for you. A loosening of the rationality, which I love. Again, I love. But not letting go so far that you're like, just reaching madman territory, which also, if you have the time, if you have a few months on your hands, I would say everybody should have a little detachment from reality once in a while, at least once in your life, right? Although I say that tongue-in-cheek. I know some people have difficulty managing through those, but I have been a traveler in those lands more than once, so I get it. Okay, so we have two people. One here, one here. I feel like this is a friendship. And it looks like we have a deer in a wooded area. Two people kind of walking. We have a rose. We have a heart. So I do feel like you have somebody in your life who you would consider like you're well matched on a spiritual level, a belief system level, how you view the world, how you want to live. Like, I feel like you totally vibe with this person. I don't think it's romantic, but I feel like it almost verges on, like, it's a very close relationship. There is love. Like, it feels like, somebody, like a best friend. Maybe it verges on kind of a romantic love, but I don't think that there's like anger or jealousy. You know what I mean? Like, I feel or lamenting, like, oh, I'm in the friend zone. Like, nothing like that. But I feel, yeah, that sometimes it kind of blurs into a romantic love. So anyways, I feel like this next period of time, there's a real link between the spiritual in your life and the money and the career stuff, but also a deep link into your focus on love and the sensation of love, and doing deeper personal work and the greater mystical work under the banner of love. And I think that's really apparent. You're somebody who's probably been called a romantic or a idealist or a utopic thinker or whatever, probably at times like into that whole follow your bliss and your joy and, that kind of stuff. You're not naive, though. You understand the other side of it. The dark side of the moon, if you will. But you like to be happy. I mean, who doesn't? But you really like to be happy. And you like to just vibe. That's the big thing, too. Us Virgos, we are vibing people. Like, if you give me a nice atmosphere, like, I meet somebody who has like a whole like vibe together, and their like a apartment or house is like has like a it doesn't have to be like a cohesive theme or aesthetic, but it has a real feeling to it, and there are layers of intentionality there, like how it smells, the lighting, the textures, like all that stuff, right? I have such a deep respect for people that can like create like a whole thing. I don't know. You've probably seen pictures of me. I kind of have different looks and stuff. So I think this is a Virgo trait. My sister's very similar. She's got a whole vibe. Her house is always like super cool. And so like, I don't know. Every Virgo I've ever known, has just like the ability to like create an atmosphere that's unlike anybody else. But I also feel you're coming into this time with somebody else, and there's a lot of love. There's something spiritual happening. Seeing the stag together tells me that you're in some kind of deep union, like a union. I guess some people would call this like a soul contract. I would call this, an iteration of the beloved. So I do feel like this is going to be something that's it's going to be a big focus in your life for a while. And I do feel like there's going to have to be some degree. Now we have the number 57 and 3. I just want to make sure we don't lose those. I think that you're going to have to be very mindful of how you balance out your time and your priorities, because I feel like you could get really pulled into this. And like, that's the thing about us Virgos, is we're also very obsessive and fixated, so I definitely feel like we have to just kind of be aware that you don't put all of your eggs into one basket, and you don't spend all of your time with this one thing, right? Let's see. What do we have going on over here? We have the eye. We have a mountain. I feel like there's a new goal for you. 93. You have a new goal. So we have the energy of agape, the belovedness, the light of the divine, the utterance, it's not even the utterance, and it's not the word. It's not about the utterer either. It's about the meeting of the lower and the higher, and that moment where they meet. And then there is what? The Annunciation. There is the mundane being impregnated by the divine. The energy is flowing upwards and downwards. It is kind of that two of discs energy. It is an infinite dance, an entanglement, and I feel you looking, and it looking back at you, and you feeling seen in a way that you've never felt seen. And I absolutely, it's like the wind has changed. Everything is changing right now. How you feel about everything. It feels like you're going through a period that's very ambiguous. You don't even know, like, whoa, I don't want to side with anything. I don't want to side with anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even, like, it's so much. And you look at it, and you look at these, like, the polarity of things, the duality of things, these, like, opposing forces, and as a Virgo, as a child of the earth, of the prima materia, we know that we are all. This duality is a illusion. And not a lot means anything anymore, does it? And so I feel you kind of, no, this is not for me. I don't want to engage this. And so we turn towards where? The work, the sky, the divine, into ourselves, in that infinite dance, entanglement. There's love here. Also, we have a Libra person. I don't think it's a problem. Sorry, Libra. I cannot think of a more ill fit, for me anyways, as a Libra person. I love Libra people, but like romantically, I can't imagine. Like, you know, siblings, BFFs, family, like chosen family. Yes, all the way. Like I ride with you, Libra, but like no, I just can't see it, but maybe I'm wrong. If you are a Virgo or a Libra that happens to be with a Virgo or a Libra, whatever, vice versa, whatever way it goes, how does it work out for you? What's it like? I mean, is it a good relationship? I feel like I would just emotionally intellectually be in combat with a Libra constantly. I feel like we'd be correcting each other all the time. And I would be lit up behind that. 100% could not deal with it. One of my favorite people in the whole world is a Libra, though, my niece. And me and her, we get along. We get along. She's one of my favorite people in the whole universe, for sure. But man, does that kid have a mouth on her. And she's so smart. That's the thing, too. Witty. You don't want to get this kid clowning on you at all. Like, I wouldn't. There was one time she came at me, and it hurt my feelings. I'm going to be real. It really did. Okay, so we have the number 17. We have the 17. I'm like... I was like crying. I remember. Oh my gosh. I think it was last summer. Was it last summer or the summer before? Man. Anyways. Number 17. And this Libra, I almost wonder if it has to do with money with the Libra, though, because we have a little fish next to him. So it almost feels like there's a money ask, maybe. We got a money ask from our Libra. All right, let's see. We have 3 lucky numbers. Number 1 is 69. 69. 2. 44. Yes. 69, 2, and 44. All right. Well, yeah, Virgo, I love you. This is a long reading. I know I went on and on, but thank you for being here. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. I don't know. Yeah. All right. We'll talk soon. Bye. Stay safe.